How's it going, everybody? Smoking a cigar, Nat Sherman Explorer Maduro. Fantastic cigar. But today we're going to be talking about other tobacco products, Swedish Snus in particular. Now, I have had an interest in Swedish Snus for years. Ever since I started using nicotine, I had an interest in snus. It seemed like a very great option for me because I like nicotine. As a drug, it's very functional for me. It improves motivation, it improves the clarity in my mind, and it improves memory. You know, like when I'm reading something and I'm smoking or using nicotine in any form, I find that it's easier to absorb the information, and I also remember it for a lot longer. Okay? And even as sort of a bodybuilder or anybody that's into fitness, you want to strive for the best way to deliver nicotine, because nicotine can be used as a pre-workout. For me, it motivates me a lot, and I could see myself using snus before lifting weights or something like that, you know. I feel that it would really help me. But you know, you don't want to use any smoking products. You want to use the best way, right? So Swedish Snus. Here in the United States, it's pretty much very hard to get it, you know. I've been trying for years and years. I went to the general Swedish Snus website, and they have this tracking thing where you put in your location and it tells you all these places where they would have general Swedish Snus and the type of varieties they have. Well, guys, I tried 7 of those locations listed on the website, and none of them have it. And when I went to that gas station or that supermarket, whatever it happened to be, I said, "Hey, do you guys have general Swedish Snus?" They looked at me like I was from a different planet. They didn't know what the hell I was talking about. They're like, "What? Excuse me? I don't know what you're talking about," you know? So they probably haven't stocked it for like 5 or 10 years, or who knows, you know? There might be one place that actually has general, but it's like 2 hours away from me. It's a cigar shop, and I'm pretty sure that they have it. But if they do have it, like I said, nobody really uses snus here in the United States, so it's probably expired, maybe not even refrigerated properly. Probably around $8, $10 a can, you know. So there's a lot of downsides if you want to acquire snus here in the United States. Now, here is my tale of my snus journey. I recently ordered snus from Sweden. Shout out to snuscentral.com. That's where I got it from. I got Swedish candy and all that stuff in there too. Pretty good. I have no complaints about their services or their website or anything at all on that end. They shipped it really quickly. It went from Sweden to Deutschland, Germany. Then it went from Germany down here. And the problem here is, you know, the problem isn't about UPS, because you have to use UPS. There has been a new tobacco law implemented that any imports, or exports even probably, of tobacco products have to be checked by the FDA, and then it's just signatures required and age regulations, and there's so many strict regulations when it comes to tobacco products that it's completely ridiculous. So UPS service so far, I don't blame Snus Central or UPS, because they got my package to a destination really close to me, but the problem is it's sitting in the warehouse. It says being held in the warehouse. First it said your package is waiting for FDA clearance or FDA processing. It will be released to a brokerage agency or something like that. I thought when it meant, like on the bottom it says released to a broker agency, and then it will be cleared for final release to the UPS. I thought that meant it's gonna be, you know, in the UPS hub and, you know, at my place in like a day or two, but it's still being held in warehouse for review. So that means the FDA hasn't gotten to it yet. I called up UPS. The lady was a little bit rude, I'm not gonna lie. I just had a simple question, but I mean, they probably receive thousands of calls a day, so I get where they're coming from, but still, unnecessarily rude over a simple question. I said, I was very polite as well. I don't like waiting for packages, and my nerves are a little bit on the edge, but I have cigars and everything to hold me over, so I'm not really worried. Whenever it gets here, but it's just annoying because Snooze Central says 3 to 4 days, 3 to 5 days. Yeah, it gets to the US quick, but by the time it clears the FDA to get to your place, that's the problem. It's not on Snooze Central parts or UPS's part. Again, going back to what I was talking about. I called them, the international shipping department. They said a robot talked to me first. Oh, what would you like to do? Track a package? And I'm like, whatever. I played along with it. I put in my tracking number, and then it's like, oh, you're tracking your package is in the UPS service and can be tracked online. And I'm like, I already tracked it online, and I'm confused about this whole situation. So I said, transfer me to a representative. Representative was very rude. I asked, I would just like to know what's going on with my package because, I was expecting it, a couple days ago, and then on the website here is very confusing. It's saying it's going to be transferred to the FDA, but then it says it's being held in the warehouse. Who knows where? I don't know if the FDA is located there or if the FDA has to personally come to that warehouse and check the package themselves. I don't know exactly how they do it. She didn't give me any great answer. She just says, oh yeah, it's just being held by the FDA. And I'm like, okay, so can I expect it in like 2 days or so? And then she says, no, it could take up to 60 days with like such a horrible attitude, like, oh, why are you rushing us type of thing, It could take up to 60 days, she said. I'm like, okay, you could have just said, it takes up to 60 days. You don't have to be all mad at me or whatever. So yeah, from where it is right now, it's just a waiting game. It got here quick from Sweden, very quick, But to get to your place, that's the difficult part. So for any of you interested in Swedish Snus, if you could get it locally, but most of the time, like I said, in the US, you don't really have a great variety available. You just have General. That's pretty much it. You don't have Jakobson's or what other ones? There's just a great variety of Swedish Snus. Odin's to try out and sample. That's better than General Snus, because General is kind of like the main brand, the mainstream brand. But then you have all these other brands that may provide a more quality experience. If I could find General Snus here, like easily, for a decent price, then I probably wouldn't bother with getting it from Sweden. I might, I probably would order from Sweden if I wanted just like a variety. I would use like General as my like daily or whenever I need it go-to snus, and then maybe once a year around the holidays or whatever, I'd order like a massive amount of a different variety from Sweden, just to have a sort of, a breakaway from the typical. But the prices ain't cheap either, people. Like, the snus itself came out to like $34 or $35 for 11 cans. Plus I bought candy and stuff like that. So yeah, $34 for all that stuff. But the shipping itself, I think, was $35. So I paid pretty much more for shipping than the actual snus and the actual products themselves. And to be, put through all this bullshit, basically, is infuriating, because I dropped $80, basically, $82 or $83 on the whole order. And I call all these places and they don't want to give me a clear answer. And it's all the American government, it's all the FDA. It's super, super retarded. Honestly, you could smuggle heroin or cocaine or anything else, any other drug in the US or even from foreign countries way easier than you could tobacco. It's ridiculous. It's really ridiculous, especially snus, which is a very helpful and beneficial product that has been known to be safe and has been tested by, for hundreds of years. It's almost like the government doesn't want you to be healthy. They don't want you to have the good stuff, They want you to keep on buying cigarettes and all the American crappy snoozes with all these chemicals and who knows, some other addictive stuff added to it, you know? It's ridiculous. And even in Sweden, I heard that the prices and the taxes on snus is going up, They could get it easily, but still, they gotta pay more, It's so ridiculous. So ridiculous. So yeah, it's just a waiting game now, I guess. Kind of pissed off, but what can you do? If you're looking for tobacco products without a hassle, I guess cigars are the best way to go and the safest way so far. But if I like snus enough, I'll probably order it regularly from Sweden in massive amounts just to save me the hassle. No matter how long it takes, I'll have a great supply. That's what it's all about. Anyway, guys, peace out.